Hello kind people, this is Dmitry, welcome to my weekly listener recap, and today we're going to look at this puzzle, listener 4893, it's called Strike Back and it's by Horntail. So Horntail is not present on the list of setters on the listener website, so this is a debut, and in fact I do have some insider knowledge that Horntail is in fact a collaboration. And I happen to know one half of it, of Horntail, and so while it is indeed their listener debut, I believe they had a Crosswords in the Magpie under another pseudonym. So it's called Strike Back, and let's read the preamble. In 10 clues, a letter must be moved, always leaving real words to enable solving. The initial letters of the destination words spell a song title. Each remaining clue has a letter misprinted in the definition. The corrections spell A description of a craft designed by 9 Down, and you can quickly verify that 9 Down is an unclued entry, B a thematic element, and C a pair of items. After filling the grid, apply the song title to 3 cells within a diagonally connected set of 9 to produce a replacement for B. Highlight that replacement, a structure, a rectangle of 10 cells, and an entry representing A in motion. Finally, depict a climactic moment by adding C appropriately positioned to a letter adjacent to the structure. So it's all rather complex, and for me, this told me absolutely nothing about the theme. However, having now familiarized myself with the theme, and more on that later, I wonder whether any of the serious fans could recognize it straight from the preamble. Let me know in the comments if you did. So several comments on the preamble and the gimmicks first. So moving letters within the clue, I think, is not a new gimmick, but it's an extremely rare one, and as we'll see, is very appropriate here. The second thing I want to say is that misprints in the definition, and I might have commented on this before, but I'm not a setter, but I am told by some very good setters that this is a very hard thing to achieve. So it's much easier to write clues with some other gimmicks than with this one. So let's have a look at some of the clues. I didn't really keep track on which order I solved the puzzle, but there were some really nice ones. I think I'll move to the completed grid with my annotation of the clues and maybe show you some of them. So as you can see, and from these extra letters, the theme will become obvious. But let's have a look at some individual clues first, because especially for the traveling one, because this is such a rare gimmick, I think I really enjoyed it. Okay, so for example of this, such a nice surface, got I between consecutive no's. And so here we need to, this T travels to inside the word nodes, and so I can represent the letter I, consecutive notes are D and E, and to go in one of these meanings is to die. So I think this was very elegant because of such a nice surface that you had to then, vandalize by moving a letter. What are some of the other ones? Finally come by freezing train stopping short of Asian country. Slightly less natural surface, I think. I'm just looking at the ones which I remember very well. So again, this T has to be moved to oh gosh, I thought, okay, that is absolutely beautiful, and I just realized that it was in the back of my head. I knew there was something about these traveling letters, And then I kind of dismissed this thought straight away because I realized that what we need to get from these letters is, you know, a message which has B and A and C and whatnot. And now I realize that it is actually always the letter T which is traveling. So, and T of course can represent time, and as well, probably by already reading what's on your screen now, you kind of recognize the theme. But if you didn't, then, you know, this would be a, you know, it would be nice to discover that it is always the letter T that is traveling, because this is the theme indeed is concerned with time traveling, time travel. So, and apologize, I'm just checking whether my camera operates well. Yeah, okay, maybe it's not, but I can't do anything about it. So anyway, it is indeed letter T which is always traveling. So for example, here, did win need, I think it need bust to cross a river. Yeah, and it is earned, so you need an anagram of need around A and R. This is beautiful. I'm really glad that I'm recording this, because otherwise it might have passed me by that it is always the letter T which is moving. Because obviously this is not what you are recording. What you are recording is the destination, the first letter of the destination word. That makes me value this puzzle even more. Okay. So from these traveling clues, you get back in time as the title of the song, and from the other ones with the misprints in the definition, and there are some really beautiful clues there as well. So let me try and single out something. Everyone rounded an old dictator who is associated with Colombian flag. It's not Colombian flag, it's Colombian flat. And so it's Lanero. I don't know how to pronounce that. Rule involving current on Her Majesty's salad. So here we need to change current to current, and it's actually Ohm's law. What else? Most like porn after cutting bit of blather interrupting racy subtitles. It's actually most like corn. And so on. So anyway, from those clues you get converted car, plutonium, and clock hands. And so of course we are talking about Back to the Future, and 9 down is Dog Brown. So now let's talk about the end game. So after filling the grid, we need to apply the song title to 3 cells within a diagonally connected set of 9 to produce a replacement for B. So B here is plutonium, and also note the clever use of the word element here. Thematic element is indeed a chemical element. And so the replacement for plutonium in the film was a lightning strike. And as you can see right here, we already have, we already have lie. And here, what we want to have is after this, we want to have the letter T. And as you can see in this sequence, it is almost lightning, but these 3 cells, I and C, we need to reverse them. And as the preamble said, we need to apply the song title to them. So we need to put them back in time. And so that gives us T and I. And now we have our lightning, which we have to highlight. And of course it strikes the courthouse the Hill Valley Courthouse in the movie, and so we need to highlight the courthouse and the entry depicting A in motion. So A is a converted car, and of course it was a DeLorean, and it happens that Oleander, which was the answer to 18 down, is an anagram of DeLorean, and so we can highlight that as well. And finally, we need to add the clock hands to the letter adjacent to the courthouse, and of course in the lightning struck at 10:04, so it should be something like this, and I hope that the marking will be quite generous regarding the exact position of the clock hands, as long as it's vaguely resembling 10:04. Yeah, well, what can I say? This was a really delightful puzzle to solve, and kind of a big reveal for more or less no reason at all, but somehow I managed to avoid the thematic material up until now in my life. But I try to read books and listen to music and watch films from the listeners and the magpies that I solve, partially because it's the bunch of setters for those of those thematic crosswords are people who I actually somewhat trust in their tastes, and so I think that it might be well worth checking on. I mean, if they found it worthwhile to write a puzzle about it, I probably should go and watch, listen, read it. And here it wasn't hard because I mean I knew sooner or later I would watch it anyway, and somehow I just was delaying it for no reason. But now I have watched parts 1 and part 2, and I'm about to watch part 3. So yeah, thank you Horntail for that as well. I also learned that apparently in part 2 the future of Beef Tannen, which when you watch it you think, whoa, that's really like Donald Trump like, and it turns out the chap was indeed based on Donald Trump to some extent. So yeah, it looks like we are living now in that alternate reality, which they accurately predicted. Anyway, one other slight comment that I want to make, completely unrelated to this puzzle, is that a new great crossword magazine was published last month called Unch, and I got it and started solving it, obviously on paper because it's very much a paper thing, and it has this really nice surface that it was an absolute pleasure to solve it with a fountain pen. And one change that induced somehow is that I switched from using capital letters when I fill my grids to using lowercase ones, and it feels now much more natural to me, but let me know whether that somehow has an impact on visibility and everything. So anyway, that's it for this week, and again, the run of fantastic listeners in 2025 continues. This is also one of my favorite ones, I guess. I don't know whether that's enough to propel it into top 5 of the year, but yeah, thematic gimmick, nice picture at the end. I mean, great source. What else would one want? So thank you for watching, and let's see what next week brings. Bye.